Hi everybody, my name is Jens Larsen. Most of the time when we're talking about Wes Montgomery, then we are talking about what arpeggios he was playing, or that he was only using his thumb or playing octaves and chord solos. And of course, that's impressive, and that's also a big part of the Wes Montgomery style that we know. But at the same time, I think there's another aspect that really deserves a mention, that is a little bit overlooked in his playing, and that I also think is more the reason why he's considered such a great musician, such a great improviser. When I was transcribing and learning Wes's solos, then I was focusing on just trying to figure out how to play them and then play along the record, because I wanted to learn from his phrasing and his timing. And I would suggest that you do that with any solo that you transcribe, that you check out, because you can learn really a lot like that, and that's probably one of the easiest ways to learn it. But in this video, I'm going to focus on something else in Wes's playing, because I'm going to focus on his ability to connect longer melodic ideas. He's really great at having an idea extend over several bars and not just be something on this chord and then something else on the next chord. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar, improve the way that you solo, or check out some interesting arpeggios or chord voicings, then subscribe to my channel. If you want to make sure not to miss anything, then click the little bell notification icon next to the subscribe button. The solo that I'm using in this video is Wes' solo on 4 and 6 from the album Smoking at the Half Note. I think Smoking at the Half Note is one of the best albums from Wes. And I think also 4 and 6 is maybe one of his most iconic pieces. It's a really simple form. It's 16 bars long. Essentially, it's just a take on Summertime, so Gershwin's standard Summertime with a few added extra 2/5s. And it really showcases a lot of really great things about Wes's playing. This first example is of course quite long because it's 8 bars, but it also really showcases how Wes ties together the different phrases and keeps developing it and makes it interesting for the listener. So the first initial statement is sort of a call response, which is built around, to me it's really associated with this, so this G minor 11 arpeggio, because he's emphasizing the 11 and the 9, which is something he does quite often on minor chords. So we get this call part, and then we get a response, which is, it's a little bit my interpretation that that's in this arpeggio, but it's really just this phrase, which is just lower in the chord, maybe a little bit like a blues phrase. And then he repeats that with an upbeat. And this is making up already the first 4 bars, and we already have something happening with the call response. And he develops this when he goes to the C minor. So we get the same kind of pickup, but now there's no room to make the same response. And also you kind of want to have the motif developed a bit. You don't want to play the same thing and then just move it around. That's going to get boring and predictable. So he just turns it into this descending arpeggio, and then sort of keeping that idea, but he again has to shorten it to get it to work on the descending 2/5s. Then on the B flat minor, E flat 7, turns into this, and then that's directly repeated on the A minor 7 D7, and then on the last E flat minor A flat 7, it's still the same idea, but the rhythm is changed a little bit, and he's adding a note on the arpeggio. So here we have really just one phrase, and then this is changed and developed and moved around over a period of 8 bars, and in that way just really connecting the whole thing. So he starts with a, then repeats that, and then we get the first variation on it, same pickup, one answer, then the short pickup and the short answer, repeat that, and then the final part. This second example is a lot more compact, and the main motif is a lot shorter, because it's really just playing one note and then kind of making a pickup to the next note. But he does manage to move this around and really take it through the changes, and still spelling out the changes, which is quite extraordinary. And it is moving across several chords as well. So the way he starts it, it's on the C minor 7, F7 right before the last line of the piece, and he turns that into just an F7 altered, so that becomes this sharp 9, and that's something, I think he does that actually one time earlier also in the solo, so that's probably something he does quite often. So we start with that sharp 9, and then with the triplet, aiming for the F, so the root of the dominant, and then aiming for the third of the B flat major, and then aiming for the root, and then we go to the A half diminished, so that's the 7th, and then down to the third of the D7, so really spelling out the A half diminished D7, and then using the flat 9 to resolve to the 5th of the G minor. So what we have is this phrase. One of the reasons I can keep on making videos every week is that I have a small community of people supporting the channel over on Patreon. I'm really grateful for that, and if you want to help me keep making videos, then you can check out my Patreon page. I'm linking to it in the description of this video, and I'm also going to be linking to it at the end of this video. And if you join us over on Patreon, I can also give you something in return for your support. For instance, you can get access to the PDF download for the sheet music of this video. This third fragment of the solo is a great example of how Wes is taking a really simple melody of 4 notes and then really using that to develop a story that lasts for 4 bars. So the initial statement is on the C minor F7, and that's just this phrase. Now he repeats this on the B flat minor E flat 7, but he changes the rhythm where in the first one it had 2 notes on the offbeat. Now everything is just quarter note, everything is on the beat. And that seems a little bit like a response to the first one, so we get. Then he turns the A minor D7 kind of into a question again by repeating the first idea, but then just move to A minor D7. And then on the E flat minor A flat 7, he has another phrase that sort of concludes the whole thing. And that's just a different phrase. It's really just to create some variation and then end this part of the song, because he's also at a strong point in the form. So first we get, and then with a different rhythm, then a repeat of the first phrase, and then a conclusion. I could probably sit around all day and talk about how great Wes Montgomery's playing is and the different phrases in the solo, but another jazz guitarist who also had a huge influence on, or impact on my playing, is Joe Pass. And if you want to check out a video I did on one of his chord solos, then check out this video. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar, then subscribe to my channel. These are the kind of videos I publish every week. And of course, if you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page. That's about it for this week. Thank you for watching, and until next week.